Hello, it's India here, and it's about 9 o'clock on the first day of the Booktubeathon, so it's Monday. Excuse my appearance. Currently, my family and I are camping out in the wilderness, outdoors. We went on a hike yesterday and went whitewater kayaking the day before that, which was pretty fun. So here's where we're at. Currently staying at a friend's cabin. It's very nice of them. But anyway, I thought it might be a lot of fun to try and vlog the Booktubeathon. Yeah, might be fun. But the books that I have with me currently are from three categories. I brought three. So we have The Witch of Blackbird Pond by Elizabeth George Spear, which is the read a book with a person on the cover challenge. And then we have read a book completely outdoors, and I have Into the Wild by Jon Krakauer. And then read a book you bought because of the cover. I have Thomas Hardy's selected poems because it's a really pretty cover, I think. So yeah, I'm probably gonna start reading one of the first two, maybe Into the Wild, because it's really nice out. But yeah, I'll do a check-in later, probably when we get back home, and yeah, I hope everyone's having a great start to their readathon. So it's about 4 o'clock. We just got back home. I took a shower, got cleaned up, got all the dirt and grime off of me from camping. I read about 60 pages of Into the Wild, which I'm enjoying so far. Quick summary, it is a non-fiction book that follows the story of this guy who basically dropped everything after graduating college and went into a bunch of different wilderness areas and kind of just did his thing. But he was planning on hiking and backpacking this trail out in Alaska, but his body was found in a bus. So it's really interesting. The writer is going along and getting all these different stories from people that this young man ran into before he died. So it's cool. I got about 60 pages through. I want to get about halfway through that before I have to go to work tonight. And yeah, I'm just sitting right now on my porch. Really nice out. Pretty hot, actually. But yeah, and I think that'll be it. I might check in tonight. Maybe not. If I do any more reading, it'll be from another book because it'll be dark out. So yeah. So it's day 2 of the Booktubeathon, and it's about 12, I think. Yesterday, before work, I finished 40 more pages of Into the Wild, and then today I've read another 40 pages, so I'm going to try and finish this today before it gets too hot here. It's supposed to get into the high 90s. And then yesterday after work I finished 20 poems, read some 20 poems from the Thomas Hardy collection. I'm going to try and get 20 more today, and then if I do finish Into the Wild, I'm going to try and get a start on, the girl who circumnavigated fairyland in a ship of her own making by Catherine M. Valente. So yeah, that's kind of my plan for today. I'm currently outside. I just put up our hammock that we took down when we left this weekend. Yeah, so that's how that's going. So it is about 5:50 now. I've just finished reading Into the Wild by Jon Krakauer, which means I've read 110 pages of that today to finish it. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was really interesting to read and see where Jon Krakauer intertwined his experiences as a hiker and someone who backpacks and climbs and does outdoors things with the story of Chris McCandless. I thought that was interesting, and also his choice to focus and spend some time talking about like the experience of Chris's parents and his family after his death and different things, and I thought that was really interesting. I think the line between where the story glorifies Chris's experiences and his death and kind of like going into nature not prepared, and the line where that and where like being prepared, and where John talks about, okay, this is where Chris really messed up and this is what he should have done, is really interesting to cross. I can see where it can be read as a kind of dangerous way, where it can almost be like, oh, he made some mistakes, and like they were minor mistakes, except they weren't, because they're fairly big. Anyway, I thought it was interesting to read as someone who's not super outdoorsy but does have experience in backpacking and climbing and going on hikes and different things. But yeah, it was cool to read. Other than that, I read, I think, about another 20 or 30 pages or poems from the Thomas Hardy selection. I'm going to try to get maybe a couple more pages of that through. So far I'm really liking it. A lot of his stuff reminds me of a project I did in high school, which was surrounding his novel, Test of the D'Urbervilles. So that's cool. I'm liking some of his stuff, and I think after reading a couple more poems from here, I'm going to start in on The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland and try to get through a bit of this before the night is over. It's not even 6 yet. But yeah, gonna keep trekking along. Might do another check-in today, might just check in tomorrow. So yeah. So it is day 3 of the Booktubeathon. It's Wednesday at about 9:45 a.m. And yesterday, so last night, I finished Into the Wild, and then after that I read 42 pages of the Thomas Hardy poetry collection. So I'm about halfway through with this. I might try to finish it today, just so I have a nice succession of finishing a book a day for these past 2 days. And then I got started on The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland in a ship of her own making, and I got about 40 pages of that done. I'm going to keep on reading this and try to get at least halfway through today, if not more. I do have a dentist appointment today, and some friends are coming over, so I've got to clean the house a little bit, just tidy it up. But yeah, that's how that's been going so far. I've been really enjoying the Thomas Hardy collection. Some of his poems are really fantastic. He has a lovely way of telling stories and making really beautiful narratives within his poems that aren't like pages and pages long, which I really enjoy. Not that epic poems, that there's anything wrong with them, just not necessarily my favorite. And yeah, I'm enjoying The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland. I don't read a lot of fantasy, but this definitely is something that I'm sure that young elementary school me would have picked up and like enjoyed so much, so I'm really loving it. Yeah, so I'm gonna check in later, maybe after my dentist's appointment. And yeah. So it is almost 2. I just got back from the dentist. My teeth are nice and clean. But I read another stuff is falling over. I read another 40 pages of The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland, and I'm really enjoying it. It has lots of Alice in Wonderland vibes, very like Wizard of Oz, and a girl who goes into a fairy land and kind of gets swept away with all of these different adventures and different creatures that she meets. There's a scene where she goes into these different baths that reminds me of Spirited Away, except not as dark or, like, dangerous, even though there's a touch of danger in this. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I want to get at least 4 more chapters of that read by tonight, probably more. I haven't made much headway on the Thomas Hardy collection, and I would like to get most of that done today as well. So I think that's what I'm going to be focusing on before people come over. And then, I mean, if I finish both of those, which won't happen, I might get started on The Witch of Blackbird Pond, or maybe half A Yellow Sun. One of the two. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I'll probably check in once more, maybe tonight, especially if I finish one of these. So yeah. So it is almost 5:30 on day 3 of the Booktubeathon, and I just finished reading Thomas Hardy selected poems, selected by Tom Pollan. I really enjoyed it. Some of my favorite poems from this were Tessa's Lament, Channel Firing, The Change, and then Old Furniture. I've never read any of Thomas Hardy's poems before, even though he's a fairly renowned, or like his poems were really good, from a literary standpoint, or from any standpoint. But he's definitely much more known for his novels, such as Tess of the Ubervilles, Far from the Madding Crowd, and The Woodlanders, to name a few. So I really enjoyed reading it, and so that's 2 books now that I've read. So this one, which is for Read a Book You Bought Because of the Cover, and this is from the Favorite Nature Poets collection, and I have a couple of these, so I bought it because of the edition. And then Into the Wild, which is Read a Book completely outdoors. So now I'm going to focus on finishing up The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland, or at least getting to at least halfway or like 3/4 of the way through tonight, and then maybe starting on another book. Tomorrow I am scheduled to start marathoning Doctor Who with a friend. So, don't know how much reading I'm going to get done, but I'll try to get enough done. Definitely going to try to finish The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland on tomorrow, or by tomorrow, or by the end of tomorrow, and then maybe starting something else. Yeah, I think that's about it. I might check in later, depending on how much reading I get done with this. But yeah. So, it's been a busy 2 days, hence why I'm checking in now on day 4, so it's Friday? Day 5? Day 5 of the Booktubeathon. Haven't read loads. Yesterday I read about 30 pages of The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland and The Ship of Her Own Making. And today I read another 30 pages of that, and I'm just gonna sit down, make some tea, and finish that up. I think I've only got about like 50 to 70 pages left of this, so I think I can get that done, and then I'll either go to sleep or start reading half of The Yellow Sun, and then save tomorrow to read the Book of Tea in one day. So yeah, that's how that's been going. Pretty uneventful. Just got back from work. So yeah, I'll check in tomorrow, definitely. It is day 6 of the Booktubeathon. It's about 2:30, and so last night I finished reading The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland in a Ship of Her Own Making, which I enjoyed quite a lot. That one ticked off the Read a Hyped Book challenge, Yeah, it was really great. Reminded me a lot of Alice in Wonderland and a lot of stories where a child gets swept off into another world. Really interested in continuing on with the series. I think there's 4, 5 books out now, maybe 6. But yeah, today I've been focusing on the Book of Tea by Kakuzo Okakura. If I've mispronounced that, which I probably have, forgive me, and let me know how to pronounce that. But I've been enjoying this. This is just a brief history of tea in China and Japan, and kind of like how it was introduced to kind of more Western cultures, areas in the world. But yeah, I'm about halfway through, got about 40 more pages left. I'll finish that up and then start on Half of a Yellow Sun to get that all read today and tomorrow. It is now 4:30 and I just finished reading the Book of Tea, which I liked a lot more than I expected. I expected to like it because I enjoy tea, and I think history of something I enjoy is interesting. But it goes in to talk about how like tea and like tea making and tea serving is an art and like a ritual and different things, which was really cool to read about. And also how phone, you're buzzing quite a lot. How it kind of mirrors different things in the world at the time, so or just like in the culture at the time. So kind of like the art of tea mirroring the art of like flower arrangements, and it also talks about the architecture of tea houses and the roles that tea masters have in like tea ceremonies or just like tea. Yeah, it was really enjoyable. So that was about 90 pages of that. So I'm going to start reading Half of a Yellow Sun, and then I might switch out my intended read for the challenge of read a book with a person on the cover, which initially was The Witch of Blackbird Pond, and trade it with a graphic novel I have that might have a person on the cover. But we'll see about that. I think I'm going to go make some food first before I sit down and start reading. Yeah. It is about 9 o'clock on Saturday, so day 6 of the readathon, and I've just finished about 125, about that many pages of The Witch of Blackbird Pond by Elizabeth George Spear, which is about a girl who was born in a lived in a Caribbean island, and with her grandfather, and after he dies, goes to Connecticut, and this is in like the 1600s in America with the English colonies, and her experience being in a Puritan town. I think I'm going to take a break from that and pick up Spell on Wheels, which is a graphic novel. Initially, I was going to read Half of a Yellow Sun to complete the read a book with a character who is really different from you. And the Half of a Yellow Sun is about a Nigerian woman in the 60s. But I don't think I'll end up finishing it, so I think I'll either pass the read a book about someone different from you challenge onto another book that I finished, either Into the Wild or maybe the Book of Tea. Not sure, like one of the two. But this is something that can pass as either like read a book with a person on the cover. Perhaps if I finish this today, it can be also read a book in one day, or I might just not have it count as a challenge and double up on another thing. Yeah, so I'm gonna sit down and keep reading for tonight, and then hopefully tomorrow I can finish The Witch of Blackbird Pond and start We Are Okay by Nina LaCour. So yeah, I think we're gonna do that. It is almost, it's about 10 o'clock on day 7, so the last day of the Booktubeathon. Last night I finished reading, Spell on Wheels, the volume 1, which is a queer feminist comic about some witches who go and try to get a spell that a vengeful ex stole from them, and that he can't have. And it was just really lovely and amazing. It's compared to being like Supernatural and Buffy, and it was just really amazing, and the art was beautiful. I quite enjoyed it. And then I started on The Witch of Blackbird Pond and read about 160 pages of that, so I'm more than halfway through, so I'm sure I'll be able to finish that today. And after that, I'm going to get started on, well, I had planned on getting started on We Are Okay, which is part of a themed reading I'm doing this summer of reading queer books chronologically. However, I had planned, hello boys, I had planned to have already finished Every Heart a Doorway by then, which is the next book that I should read. So I think I'm going to switch those two around, just not sticking to my TBR. But, yeah, I'm going to finish The Witch of Blackbird Pond, and then probably start on Every Heart a Doorway by Seanan McGuire, and reach 7 books in a week. Perhaps. Yeah. It is just about 12:30, and I just finished reading The Witch of Blackbird Pond by Elizabeth George Spear. This was an okay book. This is a middle grade book about a girl from an island in the Caribbean who moves to Puritan Connecticut in the 1600s. So it's historical fiction, and it was alright. But yeah, now I'm going to get some lunch, do some housework, and then start on Every Heart a Doorway, which I'm fairly certain I'll be able to finish today. I think it's less than 100 pages, or if not, it's around 100 pages. So yeah, this has been fairly successful, more or less, even though I've been straying from my TBR, initial TBR. But yeah. It is 3 o'clock, and I'm outside on my back patio, just chilling, reading. I've gotten about 45 pages through Every Heart a Doorway. This is, the dust jacket is off, because I don't like reading books, hardcovers with the dust jackets, because I'm picky like that. No. But, I'm really enjoying it. It's just so good. It reminds me of all of the like Wonderland stories that I've read, very similarly to The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland in a Ship of Her Own Making, so like kids who get taken or who magically appear in a magical world and different things. So I'm really enjoying it. But yeah, if you didn't know, this is set in like a home for children who went to magical worlds or places or kingdoms and were and came back to Earth and have troubles coping with that. I don't know if that's necessarily like the right way to say that, but it's really interesting. I'm liking it. It's been a slow start. Not the book necessarily, but me reading has just been slow. But yeah, I'm hoping to finish that today. I've got 120 pages. Last time I picked up the camera, I said it was about 100 or less than 100 pages, and I was very wrong. It's 160. But that's okay. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'll hopefully pick up the camera when I'm finished reading or when the readathon ends, whichever happens first. It is 6:30 on Sunday, so the final day of the Booktubeathon, and I've just finished reading Every Heart a Doorway by Seanan McGuire. I really enjoyed it quite a lot. I thought it was interesting and really captivating in the way that it drew from so many different perspectives of what it would be like to be a child who came back from a magical world after being there for some time. So yeah, I completed 7 books in the 7 days of the Booktubeathon. That's 1,225 pages. So 2 nonfiction books, 2 more middle grade books, 1 book of poetry, 1 graphic novel, and 1 YA book. So let's just go through those. So we've got, I'm just going to put these on my lap. We've got Into the Wild by John Krakauer, Thomas Hardy's poems selected by Tom Howland, The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland in a Ship of Her Own Making by Catherine M. Valente, The Book of Tea by Kakuzo Okakura, Spell on Wheels by Kate Leff, Megan Levins, and Marissa Louise. The Witch of Blackbird Pond by Elizabeth George Spear, and Every Heart a Doorway by Seanan McGuire. So this last one I finished like a little bit ago. It's in like 20 minutes. But I really enjoyed it. I would like to read the prequel that just came out, so Among the Sticks and Bones or something like that. But yes, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the process of reading all these and of vlogging or attempting to vlog. I don't know how well that went. We'll see in editing. But yeah, this was quite a lot of fun and a good way, I think, for me to get into making videos about books. This being one of my first couple videos. I have some ideas of where I want to go with my channel, or like videos that I want to make. Yeah, so look forward, or look for me. You will see more videos from me in the future. Thanks for stopping by and on my channel. Thank you. Come again.